logical argument against your ridiculous gradient assumption. Okay?
Paul,
The gradient,
down.
the gradient's not an assumption.
Paul,
It is.
down.
You know what? Light refraction, yeah, that thing, that laser through the candle, it only works when there is a bordering different condition, while the atmosphere is pretty much constant in a horizontal fashion. So yeah, that only works if there is like a local fire somewhere. Well, guess what? The atmosphere is pretty damn constant in a horizontal way. So you can never bend it.
Laterally, yeah.
The deflection,
vertically.
yeah, the changing of direction of light requires a difference in medium. And that is not the
that's
case
just semantic
horizontally in the
bullshit, Alan.
atmosphere. There's only different conditions vertically.
Paul,
Idiot.
down.
And if I could
That
add
was the
here
freaking
too,
point I tried to make, but yeah, Nathan wants to talk about R.
Paul,
as far as throwing the word gradient in there, gradient is another unit of circular measurement where each quadrant is divided into 100 units. Your full circle has 400 units. This allows you to take a slope or portion of the 100 degrees of 1/4 section of the pie and attribute a percentage to it. So instead of having degrees and radians, your grads are simply a representation of the percent of the slope or the grade
but
or the hill, not a curve. So just throwing that word
really
for
uses that,
grade
though.
in there, well, I use it because it's the right way to use
but
it.
you drink your own piss as well.
I'm not. Go drop dead. Just nutcase.
No.
I don't know why they tolerate this, but that's another
dear.
story. But like I say, gradients, that's how they're used. You know?
No, but I'm talking about the difference in density from low altitude to high altitude.
Yeah, I know, but you also included the word gradient to add a twist instead of and try to elude from the R value and stuff. So I just wanted to correct that a gradient is a slope, an even straight line on an angle, a hill.
Yeah. Nathan and I had this chat the other day when I talked about the video I was going to make. He goes, "Are you going to prove R?" And I said, "No." The video is about proving the 7/6 part of it. And where we get 7/6 from.
You could even prove you have shoelaces on a pair of shoes that need them, really.
Sorry,
I haven't tied my shoelaces in 20 years.
Ruhif, sorry, you said the 7/6 part of it. What part of what?
Yep. Part of the radius. I said,
oh, so the radius is included in 7/6R, you absolute fuckwit.
But don't laugh, Ruhib. This is serious business. That's what we're trying to figure out. You know, don't laugh about it.
You guys are not serious. This is the conclusion I've come to: is you guys are not serious.
No, it's you who are not serious.
Yeah, right.
You're making a joke out of everything. You're just fucking around with your standard lore. You're not capable mentally of adapting or realizing or gaining insight, anything.
I'm serious. I don't mind coming on, sitting down, just filling a seat to keep the trolls making all those noises and interfering.
Well, Nathan has
I take it that serious that it's worth it to use my time to try to help that way, if nothing else.
Yeah. Same here. I'm in the same boat.
I came on tonight for amusement, definitely.
I don't come for amusement. This isn't a comedy show or something, you know.
Oh, it is.
For you, but not for most people.
Congratulations, Ruhif. You're that kid in class that's going to fail and think everything's a joke. That's who you are right now.
I haven't failed, Darwin.
Yeah, that's who you are right now. You're the kid in class that thinks it's all a joke and you're going to fail. That's exactly who you are right now.
What does it mean I'm going to fail? What does that mean?
It means you're not going to pass the tests because you don't get it and you think it's all a joke. And you're making the same stupid mistakes constantly. That's who you are right now.
What's the test, though? What are you trying to get at?
Test is critical thought. It's figuring out reality.
Ruhef, Santa is not real, brother.
Say that again.
Santa is not real, yeah.
Yeah. My kids know that, and they're 7 now. I've known it for years, actually.
But they also think they live in a spinning ball, right?
Yes. Yes, they do. We actually have a globe in the house, yeah.
Oh, that's bad.
It's time. 12:10. Yeah. think when the show starts, I'll probably go to bed. Like, is Anthony there?
Anthony, he might be eating. When Anthony's not speaking, he's either eating food or ice cream.
I was going to tell him, if someone can tell him if he comes back soon. I've got all the wind turbines modelled on Google Earth and my ray tracer. So if I get, hang on, was it?
Rohit, why don't you set up a hangout, you and Anthony, and talk about stuff? You know, I think it would be great.
I watched the one that Anthony put up today about Charles, and due to a conversation I had with him today, it's hard to explain stuff to someone who thinks the way he does. I mean, Anthony made this big point today about Charles giggling or something, or having a smile on his face, and therefore he's a closet flat earther. And I can relate to flat earth math. How can I say this nicely? I think he's smiling because he knows people are not very clever.
But you understand, it would be awesome, you know, because you can put your points of view and you can speak your piece, and he can do his part and speak his piece and his point of view.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, but there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly though, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by A Plain Truth, Sleeping Warrior, Ranty Flat Earth, Mark Doxy, Jose, James, Effie, I don't know who that is, Effie Viking, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Yeah, I'd like to start out by making that point that I wasn't allowed to make because you were talking about R, right? So Ruef's left, apparently. But yeah, he was arguing that light actually bends. And then he gave this example of shining a laser through a spot where there's extreme temperatures, and that bends the light. Just, well, it's actually deflecting, just like when you shine a laser or a light through a prism or a glass or an aquarium filled with water. But the thing is that the atmosphere, in a horizontal sense, is pretty damn constant. And thus, light cannot bend in a constant rate, because that would only apply if the atmosphere was horizontally inconsistent. That means that if you move like 100 feet and 100 feet more and even more and more, that the atmosphere would have to constantly change in density over distance. And that is never the case. Horizontal wise, the atmosphere is pretty damn consistent. It is the same level of pressure, the same level of moisture on average. There's slight differences, but not enough to deflect the light in such a sense that it can actually bend in a constant rate. Because, yeah, there's only vertically, there is a significant consistency. The density changes pretty much, but horizontally it does not. So that doesn't work. The medium through which the light goes has to be significantly different if light would bend. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It's just going to go in a straight line. That was the point I was trying to make. So, guys, agree on that? Disagree?
Well, it goes back to the true nature of light, Arwen. How you doing? I think we have to re-examine everything. Back to the very basics in terms of, you know, what we accept and what we don't.
Do you agree? I want kind of an answer from people on the panel. Do you agree that that is the case? What I just described.
Okay.
Do I need to explain it again?
I come in at the end of it, Arwen, so I'll let someone else.
Yeah, I might as well go one more time on it, and that'll
clear
it up a bit.
Okay, well, in order for light to bend or deflect, the medium through which the light is going has to be significantly different in a location. So a piece of glass, an aquarium filled with water, a prism, or a hot spot because of a candle flame, that can change the medium through which the light is going so that it'll change its pathway. If you want light to curve horizontally, then throughout that the horizontal location, the medium has to constantly be different in such a way that light will then deflect at a constant rate. And that's not the case in reality, because in reality, in a horizontal fashion over the earth, over the sea, horizontally, the air is pretty constant. The density is pretty constant. The moisture levels are relatively constant. There's not a significant heat change horizontally. It's only vertically things tend to change. And thus, light can never bend at a constant rate around the earth, because that's not how the bending and the deflection of light through mediums work. Do you understand?
Yeah, that makes sense. You need a real fluid density or some type of real mass kind of for the light to pass through before it'll actually bend.
Who demonstrated the bending of light in a fish tank with a sugar solution? Did anybody see that video?
Yeah, I saw that one. Oh, yeah, and it bent a lot, but and it bent multiple times even too, you know.
Yeah.
But again, it's he made a sugar medium or concentrated sugar or something.
Yeah, that's right. It was a supersaturated solution of sugar, so you got the heavier sugar crystals lower down in the fish tank, and then it just
and it put water on top. Yeah,
and it graded all the way up to practically no sugar at the top, and then there was a green laser shone through it, and the light went in a lovely curve because that was a variable medium. So yes, I would agree with you, Arwen.
Yeah, unless someone puts in millions of tons of sugar into the ocean, that's not going to happen near the water.
No, it's not. No.
It's not going to behave that way. Light travels basically straight. That's why, like lighthouses, point a light straight, and they don't have any magic way of bending it around a curve or nothing.
How about magnetism? Can magnets bend light?
Yes, that's how you move the deflector in the old TVs and the oscilloscope. It's metal plates that charge and deflect it down.
Yeah, I think I've seen a few videos people with magnets, like bending the light around.
Can seriously affect light and move it and displace it, have it force it around it. But it's very powerful magnetism too.
And it depends on the medium the light is in and the intensity of the magnets also.
Yeah, going through a magnet and field is like going through a fluid for light. It might as well be a concentrated solution of sugar. Magnets can be that strong. They affect light. They deflect it. but it has to be pretty strong too. Like a TV will go up to, on what they call the bias, 24 to 35,000 volts positive bias on the screen to attract the so-called electron from the gun. It's a lot of bias.
Hi, Jim. In terms of our natural system as well, we're in a dynamic system, right? So the source of all light, the sun, is constantly moving. It's never in a sort of a static state.
That's a pretty big assumption that, quote, this sun, this pea-sized little object that, you know, we figure is a few thousand miles at best and not millions of miles, is the source of all the energy. That's quite the assumption and the conclusion. I don't buy that one, but that's what you want to say, go for it.
I think that is also an assumption of any distance or location. It's just an optical phenomena.
I agree with Arwin on one of the key points that he makes, in that the sun is not the source of the light that we see. If you look at it scientifically, a process called atomic absorption and secondary emission are responsible for the light that we see emitted from the sky, emitted from cars, leaves, anything in the scene that we see. The light is generated in situ by a process called atomic absorption, followed by a secondary emission. Materials at the electron level, they call it, or wave level, have electrons in their orbitals, and they get hit by wave energy. That top electron valence jumps up one level, but only for a split second. When it falls back down to its original orbital, light is emitted. So the blue we see in the sky is coming from the sky itself. Light is generated in situ. The sun, the moon, the stars, they're all secondary emissions of light.
Well, I agree, Jim. I agree, Jim. The sun, for me, everything goes back to Aristarchus, right? So light is an effect, visible light is an effect. But you will agree that when the sun is not present, we don't have light, right? As we can normally appreciate what light is.
We have lesser lights, the stars, and a kind of background glow at night if it's not totally clouded over and stuff.
Right.
Even a sliver of a moon you can get by with, you know.
Well, there is a correlation then between what we would describe as light and the presence of the sun, whatever you might say the sun is. For me, light is an effect, right? We have an emanating source, and we have an interaction, and this is what we experience then as light.
Yeah, like anything, it has to be created, you know.
Right.
We get light out of a light bulb. The light bulb isn't the light.
Right.
You know, it's
well, I agree.
Almost chicken and eggs, but it's kind of the same.
Well, you talked about the sun and the stars and the moon, etc. For me, in terms of where I've come, all luminaries go back to one source and one source alone, and that is Aristarchus. And I mean, I've been laughed at for mentioning the name, but I think that's absolutely crazy, because even science tells us that Aristarchus, it is a real thing. We're told it's a crater, the most mysterious crater we've seen on the moon. So again,
well, it might also be what other religions and stuff call, like, what is it, Brahma? You know, the creator, or even, you know, it's like an energetic source, like, you know, the tree that was supposed to be in the north, the giant tree of life and stuff there.
That's that's what I describe it as, Jim. The best way that I've come to terms with, the decapitated tree of life. We can actually examine this. We can see in-depth pictures and captures from the moon, looking at a reflection of Aristarchus. And you can see all the ring-like patterns, and there's much more to the story as well. But fundamentally, it comes back to our understanding of exactly what we think light is. And for me, it's an effect. It's as a result of an interaction between these wave energies, if you want to call them divine energies, whatever. I say interaction between these energies and the water articulation of it.
I think it's more physically created than, you know, any type of fourth dimension type of creation of energy and flow and stuff, you know.
This took a weird turn into speculations on theories. I don't know if I like this.
It's not speculation, man. This can all be proven, and it's all known as well. I think there's many clues placed for us in the form of actually science. Science itself is the clue for us.
It can be proven, but it's unknown in the same sentence and breath.
Well, you can match up certain things, right? You can match up certain things. I don't want to go into it now to take up time, but I've certainly matched up. I found last year the Milky Way pattern that we experience as the big swathe of clouds in the sky, that can be traced back to a pattern on the moon. So that's definitive. That's like comparing a stencil and the pattern that's expressed through the stencil. We can say that one is intimately associated and connected with the other. And as I said, that's last year in my own search that I found that. So I do understand that we are dealing with a reflective.
There we go.
Yeah, P-Mars. But yeah, that's these things can be. They can be proven, I think, and I think this is what it's ultimately all about. You know, us coming to this greater realization. I mean, we know the Earth is flat and stationary. How much longer are we going to spend trying to convince liars to tell the truth when they're actually paid to come in and lie? You know.
Hello, Sean Pierce.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
What up, mate? How you doing?
Hello.
I just wanted to say to Ranty there as well. Ranty, on I think episode 342, you had a picture of the sun and you zoomed in and you see all these anomalies. An amazing match. I matched it up to Aristarchus as well, and it's definitive. It's provable. So as I say, all of these things are provable, and what's more, they're known as well. Seen plenty of clues in the likes of 2001: A Space Odyssey, for instance, where the great leap for mankind, the monolith was found by an ape called Moonwatcher within a crater. And when you place that crater alongside crater Aristarchus, then you have a match. What I do say about the moon, it's a reflection of the sun. The sun is a reflection of Polaris. Polaris then is a direct reflection of Aristarchus as it expresses from the north center. So I think all of these clues are there for us. And I know it sounds strange or whatever, but you know, maybe this isn't the right platform to be talking about these things.
No, I mean, just my personal goal is just to, for right now at least, is to destroy the ball Earth model. Because once that's out of the way, you know, then we can start looking at what it is that we do live on. For me, my time is consumed with finding the flaws in the ball Earth model and disproving it. Everyone else is welcome to speculate on what we might live on. That's fine, but that isn't my agenda right now.
And trying to keep globeheads honest, which is very, very difficult.
That's an impossible task, Jim. As you know well, we've been doing this long enough now, and you never get any. Have you ever met any globehead who's made one concession ever?
Never.
No, just more lies. And if I could have an instrument, I could measure the curvature of the water in my bathtub. Just that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So how long are we going to keep dealing with liars when we just know they're going to come back and keep lying? I encourage everyone not to take away from your show here, Nathan, but to consider using the block function in YouTube there, because what are we learning from these people? You know, there's so much more to learn.
Pete, can I just ask you? I know I've asked you twice, and you probably answered me twice, but I've missed it. Did Cat Earth ever get on your show and show his face?
Yeah. I'll post it. I'll post the link in chat here. He did. He came into Discord one night just roaring and screaming at me. And I called him a coward and I said, get your face on there and behave the same way. Talk to me the same way. Because when someone is looking at someone's eyes, they're not going to behave quite the same way. But yeah, I'll post you the link. I'm going to go on mute here a second till I get the dog. Yeah, he did. So I'll post the link in a second.
Oh, good man.
You there, Nathan?
I am. Did you want me to present you?
Yeah, please. It's that video that I did about a week and a half ago. I've just been working out some of the maths on some of the stuff that's in the imagery.
Nathan, check Skype.
You're up, Ranty.
Okay, I'll just play the video first. I'll take that off there because I can hear the noise. I think I put this one on my channel. I'm not too sure if I did or I didn't. But it was basically a 6 foot elevation above, well, 6 feet above sea level when I took this this video here. All kinds of stuff. There's Peel Castle. We're just in the Arundel lifeboat station. I think next we see Walney Lighthouse, and then we'll come across to the medical centre, the Barrowing Furnace Town Hall, etc. So there's Walney Lighthouse. And it's just with somebody saying in comment that I need to, what was it he said? I need to get a life or something like this. So I just thought, well, I'll just put this video back up again for them to drool over. because this is my agenda. My agenda is destroying the flat Earth model, the ball Earth model. Essentially, that's it. You know, it's like I don't care where we live, but I just know that the ball Earth is completely wrong. I see flat everywhere, and I don't understand the sun. I don't understand. You know, I don't understand it. I'll be honest. I haven't looked into it. People like Pete have.
What a beautiful looming mirage there. I just want to comment. I couldn't hit that with the 75mm artillery if I tried.
I'll bet you could.
Yeah, I'd have to calculate behind the curve. I'd break out the Palumbo ballistics PDF. Go by that, I think.
So so I've just been doing the mathematics on this. So let's start with the R&L lifeboat station, which was evidenced here. We've got 15-mile distance, elevation 6 feet. The actual drop, 150 foot. Hidden should be 93 feet. So there's an image of the RNLI lifeboat station with the ramp that comes down into the water. So 96 feet should be hidden. Physical drop, 150 foot. Next we come to Peel Castle. It's 14.3 miles, elevation 6 feet. Drop, 136 foot with 85 foot hidden. Now, the castle itself, this 3-story castle here, is only 45 foot high. And there's an image from the same direction that I was able to bring up from a search on Google Earth. On Google, and there's the image that I caught in the video. Essentially, it's shore to shore, in my opinion. Here we have 18.3 miles, elevation 6 feet, drop 223 feet, hidden 156 feet. Here we have some of the buildings. So here we have the medical centre, evidenced here. Here we have the Barrow Town Hall, evidenced here. We can actually see up to this point of it here. Oh, hang on, where have I gone? From here down to there. And the only thing that's stopping us from seeing down to the bottom is this very evident sandbank that runs throughout around the whole town, basically protecting the town from being swamped by the water. So again, shore to shore. And I think I've got another image. So yeah, the lighthouse, 13.5 mile, elevation 6 feet. The drop was 121 foot, hidden 74 feet. Sorry, hidden 74 feet. Well, there's the focal height, 69 foot. There's the focal point of it. And Walney Lighthouse's focal height is 69 feet. So when we're looking at this point here, the focal point, that's 69 feet above sea level. And 74 foot should be hidden. And there we see all of the lighthouse. So just some workings out that I've just been doing now.
Very cool. Really cool, Ranty. Obviously and observably flat. I think you'll agree.
Yeah, and you don't just see the lighthouse, you see down below its foundation to the beach level and the water level, the water line.
Yeah, you actually see it has a house behind it. You actually see the chimneys on the house are actually visible here, but it's behind the sandbank. You know, as you can see, it's actually on a sandbank. I don't actually have an image of it from that exact size, but again, it's this sandbank that runs around it, and that's why we don't see the very bases.
Basically, you're seeing 100% of that island and what's on it.
I would say so. You know, when you scan through here, I mean, we have this low-lying land to the left over here. I mean, this is only like 30 foot high. 30 foot high, that land on the left there. And again, you know, I mean, look at the clarity on this day. It's absolutely fantastic.
Can you move your mouse off screen?
Sorry, yeah. Do you want me to? I'll just put it back to there. So there's Peel Castle, for instance.
Nate, Skype.
The pilot yesterday who was on, you know, I wanted to mention, look, you're up in the air. By the time you're 2,000 to 3,000 feet up, you can see over 100 miles. There should be a mile of curve. You know, you get up a certain height, you're seeing over 100 miles, and you look below you, and it's all flat. How can you, especially if you're flying Pipers and Cessnas and small planes, how can you not see all that flat? By the time you're up at 15,000 feet, holy crow, you're seeing a long way. It's flat.
Yeah, and Nathan, you made absolute shit of him, as John Quantum Eraser pointed out at the end of the show yesterday. But let me point out that that character, I recognize that voice. I spoke to him before. He was a member of the Earth Discussions group. His name was Manuel. And yeah, so he's just a liar from the start. And yeah, look how transparent are these characters now at this stage? You know, how transparent are they, and how easy are they to bring down to their knees as well? Again, yeah.
Well, it's like with gravity. If you put yourself back in the equation, gravity disappears. You know, a feather and a bowling ball stuck to a ceiling, well, they have potential energy. And they say, well, let's ignore that. Let's vacuum out all the air from the room and then drop them and blame gravity. But I would blame the people in the scissor lift that went and hooked them up to the, you know, hydraulic releases and stuff. Like an apple in a tree. It didn't really get there and start falling at 32 feet per second squared. It grew in the tree, storing its potential energy. So in deGrasse Tyson had that microphone fit.
Right.
Well,
He picked it up.
He's supposed to be a physicist, and he can't understand Newton's first law: a body at rest stays at rest until a force acts upon it. He doesn't understand that he's part of the equation as a force acting upon that microphone, holding back its potential energy. And then when he releases it, it's not gravity pulling it down. It's the fact that he's releasing the potential energy he gave it. Otherwise, it would have been a body at rest.
He knows, but he's not going to say that.
Oh, we are. I am.
Yeah, me too. I like that. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's picking up the microphone. Simple. He's putting energy into the microphone and then letting it dissipate. If it already had a little bit of energy because it was on a table, well, it got onto the table somehow, didn't it? So, you know, the fact that he then drops it on the floor and he's picked it up from a table, well, it had some potential energy when it was on the table, and then he put more into it by picking it up. Then he just released it all.
Yeah.
Same thing with anything falling. If you ask, well, why is it falling? And if it's a bowling ball and a feather and Brian Cox trying to convince you that it's gravity, if you stop and say, well, there's more to the equation than that, how come it's already got potential energy? Did gravity put those bowling balls up there? No, someone did. You know, so if you put yourself back in the equation like you should, it's like with the angle of elevation and stuff for those curve calculators where they pull you out of the first person and put you in the side, and you're looking at everything in absolute values. It's the same thing. It's taking you out of the whole thing and giving you a sort of God's eye view, and it truly distorts the math and the science. Because if you put yourself in the gravity equation, there is no damn gravity. If you put the tree, sunshine, and water and photosynthesis into the apple equation and realize apples grow in trees, storing potential energy and making up stories of why they fall magically and accelerate at 32 feet per second squared, and even that formula doesn't need gravity to work. It's just an invention, a totally fictitious invention, gobbledygook, that fills books and volumes in people's heads with nonsense. That's what gravity is.
That's too technical. Let's let him say it's gravity magic.
Yeah, why did you have to make it so complicated, Jimbo? Just say it's magic.
It's magic.
Thanks. Yeah, it's nonsense, and you're absolutely right. You know, it's a concept, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's one thing. It's a slinky drop, where they extend the slinky and let it go, and it's so phenomenal because even in slow motion, the bottom of the slinky, the whole slinky should be being pulled down by gravitational forces the instant the person at the other end releases it. But the bottom end of the slinky does not move a millimeter. In fact, very often...
That was a beautiful observation, how it blew my mind when a simple toy like a slinky, oh yeah, like this proves totally gravity, brother.
Even if you put a tennis ball in the front of the bottom of the slinky there in the coils, and add that extra weight, and extend it, and let it go, even with a tennis ball that gravity should be working on, the instant you let it go, it still doesn't drop 1 millimeter until the top of the slinky is at a certain point, and it's sort of like has a reason to go down. But
just watching slinky videos is how it flipped the switch on telling me something's wrong with the gravity I've been taught in school, you know, because this disproves it. So let me watch more, and I watched dozens of Slinky videos. I said, let me find the truth, and I got into the rabbit hole, you know.
Another important thing it debunks totally is the so-called what is that, Flat Earth Society, where they have a claim that the Earth is moving up at 32 meters or 32 feet per second squared. Well, that's nonsense, because if it was, the Earth would move up to meet that tennis ball in the Slinky, and it doesn't.
Yep.
I think Science's Ace wants to come on the panel. Definitely wants to come on. He's saying that he has millennia of provable, repeatable science, and
I can drop and give him
let me drop him. Let me drop him.
No, I think no. There's still room for him to come. I'm just saying that he needs to get his ass on so that he can debate us.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll drop anyway around here. So nice talking to you, and I'll speak to you next time.
Get him on, definitely.
Yeah, come on, Science's Ace. We're all waiting for you to lure us out of this flat Earth nonsense and bring us back to the cozy little ball. You have all the answers. I'm just waiting for you to come in. See how long it takes him.
Nah, the plain truth joined instead.
Plain truth. Hey,
I think
Travis.
he was waiting in line.
That's fine. There's plenty of room. Come on, Science's Ace. You've got a lot to say on my videos, and you've got a lot to say on Nathan's videos. You've got a lot to say.
The panel is full again. So.
Yeah, you've got a lot to say, mate. So I'd love you to come in.
Well, the panel is full again. So
I'll drop out if he's genuinely going to come on.
No, I'm trying to bring him in, but he won't come in because
no, he's not. He's just a.
He's a faceless troll.
He is. He uses a pseudonym, and he's got nothing on his channel either, and he's just pathetic.
If somebody's ready to come in, I'll drop. Just let me know, guys.
I think we're all good, actually.
But the thing is, when you call these guys out, they don't want to know.
No, they don't.
They don't want to know
Travis.
at all.
I've muted you, Travis, just so you know.
Science's Ace is just rinse and repeating the same old. Globers have been whining on about for over a year now. Sunsets and equinox debunk the flat Earth. It's the same nonsense all over again.
Well, they're not evolving their argument. That's the thing. You know, I mean, there's people out in the flat Earth community that are evolving their knowledge. Like on this show, for instance. I mean, Nathan right now probably knows twice as much as he did 6 months ago. And, you know, there's other people that are doing this stuff too. So
yeah,
we're evolving.
Yeah,
they're stagnating.
We're getting our feet wet and our knees wet and lying on the sand. What are they doing? Absolutely nothing.
No.
They're just trying to disrupt us. It's not working, by the way.
I wonder if he's going to show. I wonder if he's going to come on this Science's Ace. Who else have we got in the chat that's a troll?
You poking the trolls, Ranty?
Sorry?
You poking the troll? It costs a penny to poke the trolls around here.
Yeah, I know. I like poking the trolls off because Science's Ace. You know, he must spend 6 hours a day typing on flat Earth channels. Because every channel I go to and I look at the comments, he's there making comments on it. It's like he's obsessed, and he must have this much information. I want to drag it out of him. I want to know what he knows.
Thank you for watching, Science's Ace. Really appreciate your support.
I don't know. I'm really in doubt that he's actually a person, because he just seems to be a sock account automatically copy pasting the same standard crap constantly.
Yeah, it's. I think that particular account gets banned. It started off as Gertrude Perkins and then became Alf Garnett, and now is Science's Ace. You know, it periodically gets banned, presumably because other channels go to the trouble of actually reporting the spam that he constantly copies and pastes, or she. I don't know. Either way, but you know, I'm pretty sure it's just the same person who occasionally loses their account.
Makes sense.
Arwin, why you be making sock accounts and bombarding the chats?
I don't do that kind of thing. I don't lower myself to their standards. I just got one account, and that's it.
Right, I'm going to do a quick plug. So 8 p.m. this evening, which is approximately 4 hours from now, maybe 4 hours and 10 minutes from now, I'll be doing 5 flat Earth proofs with Quantum Eraser. So be here or be sphere, tune in about 4 hours from now on this channel. So Quantum Eraser's 5 flat Earth proofs.
All right.
Check it out.
You were talking about Bob from Glowbusters?
Yeah, I heard there's interest on you and Bob having a hangout. I mean, there's nothing on the talks, but it would be interesting. You and Bob that got similar but different point of views. I think we all love to see that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I basically did invite him to get me on, and last time on Horry Sheet Show's news broadcast, he called into the show, and I commented, and he, well, very vividly responded using my name several times, and yeah, we established that we should do a debate sometime. But yeah, I asked him before, over half a year ago, so I don't know if he's actually gonna do it, but I'm all open for that.
I'm not confident that he will do, because he's mentioned to me in the past as well that he would like to, you know, get you on the on the show and talk about some of the stuff that you know.
Yeah. Well, I am all open and available, so still waiting for the invite.
Yeah, maybe he's waiting on somebody to give him the platform to do the debate. Maybe Nathan can interfere in there, or maybe yourself, Arwin, do it in your show, or Jaren will do it. But I don't think he's gonna do it in the main Globebusters channel because it's kind of a different format of a debate. So I don't know. Maybe they're waiting on the right platform to do it.
I don't know. Maybe, well, he could just use his own account and just do a standard Google Hangouts, just him, without all the fancy stuff around it, and I'd come on, and we could just do a one-on-one hangout, no problem.
With the silence.
Yes. Isn't it calm without any globers?
Oh, we've got no one to pick on, Nathan.
I know. That's why I've been very quiet.
There's always the chat.
There's so many
guys...
Globers talking in their same, circle jerk. They call us circle jerk, but this is an open platform, so that's the difference. Now they got a closed hangout where nobody can join, so they got a circle jerk. Why they don't join over here and give us a little bit of of knowledge if they got some?
Franti?
Yes.
Any chance you can... There's a couple of things I'm hoping you can just bring up, because you've done so many observations, and I think Anthony will probably echo this as well. Is there any chance you can go back to those 1 foot observations, specifically the one where you're angling up your camera, and just show those for us? Because I think they kind of... Well, I think they're awesome. That was the words for it.
Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I can find it.
Did we have a break, or did we just go straight through?
No, we had a break.
So there are no ballers.
So
I wonder why that might be. You know what'll happen here now? Nathan will get accused of being too heavy-handed. And the ballers will say, oh, we're not coming on because Nathan's horrible to us. Really? Stop telling lies about the shape of the earth, and then he won't.
Got evidence. Bring it. If it's good evidence, it'll stand
This
on
guy
its
in chat, Giordamo, of Giordano Bruno, is constantly saying that he has all these evidence. So why don't you come on the panel and present it right here?
Gio's the one that Nathan thinks is the thingy, isn't
Lewis
it?
Hackett.
Lewis Hackett, yeah, that's right. So Lewis, do you want to join?
Oh God.
Yeah, he was here
Why
last
not?
week. I call him DiGiorno.
Right, I'm presenting, Nath.
Julio, let's stick you on.
So, This isn't the 1 foot one where I had to raise it. This is the, like, essentially I dug a trench just before the tide enveloped me, and I stuck my camera in it, so I was looking dead level across the water.
You move your
So
mouse.
I'm essentially at 0.
Move your mouse off page. That's perfect.
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to just let you know. So in the background, where this bird, it goes up and it downs, it's popping up and down on the tide. And in the background, we have the buildings of Barrow that we're looking at. And what we'll see is that I have to, if you look at the horizon line, I'm actually having to tilt my camera up to see the shot. So I'm actually having to look up, lift the camera up, so that I can see the buildings.
And remember that none of these buildings should be visible.
No, absolutely not. Not from 0 foot.
Let's do the maths and work out what height you would need to be able to see these buildings. So they were, am I right, Ranty? They were 18 miles away. Is that right?
On this day, they were 18. Oh, crikey! It was either 18 point. I think it was 18.3 miles on this day.
So to be able to see them, you would need to be more than 50 feet. Say 75. More than 75. Let's see if it's 100. More than 100 feet.
Hang on. Wait a minute. What elevation are you giving me? 100 feet. I would have been able to see them from there.
150 feet you would need to be to see it, to see as much as what you're seeing.
Oh, to see all of it. Right.
Yeah, if we really live on a curve, which is why I was attacking Ruhif.
Right.
Ruhif was using 50 meters, which is about 160 feet, something like that. 50, yeah, 160 feet-ish. That's the height that you need to be able to see what you're seeing.
Right, I get you. But the thing that we're pointing out here is the fact that we're not looking down the curve. I'm having to tilt my camera up to get the shot. So even though I'm level with the water, I'm still having to physically lift the end of the camera up to capture the shot. I can't, if I lowered the camera's nose down, it wouldn't have got the shot. That's what I'm saying. I have to lift the camera up. You can see the water coming right up to the lens now. So I'm actually having to lift the camera up.
Well, you can tell by how much water there is in, it's not at the centre frame. It's in the bottom inch of the frame when you've got the buildings. Like now, it's the bottom 1/5 of the frame. Now it's the bottom 1/10 of the frame, etc., etc. So you're obviously pointing the camera up.
And then obviously I just show you where the trench that I was in, that I'd scooped out, and you'll see that the tide comes in right now and fills up that hole. There we go. And it starts swirling around, so you can actually make out that it was a divot. You can see where it's spinning around. So that's where I had my camera in there.
Did you do it with your bucket and your spade, Ranty?
I did it with my hands, mate. It was a spur of the moment thing. It was like I realised I had less than a minute to do it if I was going to do it, and I just feverishly dug a hole big enough to stick my P900 in.
You're going to buy a P1000, Ranty, with its 125 times optical zoom?
No, too much money in it. It's like $1,000 or something.
It's too much money, and it's not enough of an improvement to justify it, I don't think.
I think it will be. I mean, and this is we often disagree. I think that because it's 4K, it means that... Hello, Isaiah. How you doing?
Hello?
Greetings.
Can you lower your mic down a bit? It's deafening me. There we go.
Oh, that's a no glow.
So yeah, because it's 4K, it means that what we would have got in terms of the images that Ranty has got now, if they were exactly the same zoom length, you could go in by a factor of 4 and still get the same resolution as he's got now. So in other words, this image now, you could, in post, after you've caught it, you've got 4 times as many pixels to deal with.
Right, I see.
Plus, you've got the extra zoom as well. So I would say that it's going to be infinitely better. I think so anyway. Obviously, time will tell. We'll see when people start using it and buy them in about a month's time. But I would imagine it's going to be considerably better, a significant improvement based on, if it had been just 100 times, then maybe not. It would have been but at 125, I'm certain it'll be a big improvement, I think.
Yeah, it's £1,000 that I don't have though, so...
No, fair enough.
It's £1,000 on it, so it's going from 83 times optical to 125. If you do the maths on that, it's 33% more. I think it is. It's not that much.
But that's a lot when you've got 4K.
Yeah, but isn't it still a CMOS sensor in it?
It's what?
Isn't it still a CMOS sensor in it?
Yeah,
Like
I think it's the same sensor, but I think they've got it in 4K. I'm not entirely sure because I've seen two pieces of contradictory evidence. One says it's the same sensor size, and the other one says that it didn't address the size. It addressed it in ultra high 4K resolution, which makes me think it's bigger. So I'm not quite sure what's actually in it.
Okay.
But then again, that being said, it is the lens that's important. It's just the quality of the image is better if you have the 4K sensor. But at the end of the day, you really do. It is the lens it is all about the lens.
I understand where they're coming from, though. So many pixels with the 4K because it is all about the pixels. The pixel gives you the definition. You know, it's the difference between a 720p TV and a 1080p.
No, it's not. It's much more significant than that. So,
well, yeah, no, I'm just trying to explain that when you get an upgrade from a 720 to a 1080, you notice the difference.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the step up from 1080 to 4K is much bigger than the step up from 720 to 1080. You know, it's literally, it's like 4 1080p screens. So you've literally got whatever's on your screen now. Imagine if that photograph was like just the same quality, but you stacked another 3 TVs around the current TV, all with extra picture. That's essentially what you're doing. That means that when you start cropping it, you could crop one corner, you know, one quarter of the picture, and that one corner would be the same resolution as you're currently getting out of the P900. So, you know, you've got 4 times the resolution in terms of what you can actually extract out of it.
See what Santa brings.
If Santa brings you one of them, I'll have your old one off you.
With or without sand? Yeah, you can have the sand in it, mate, and the seawater.
Cheers, bud.
It's bloody, it's on its last legs as it is.
I bet if you did a PayPal or whatever they call it, a GoFundMe, that people would probably, you know, they'd get you there. I reckon you get halfway
You
there.
put the camera up to your ear, you hear the ocean.
Yeah. That's like saying we live on a spinning ball. If you look carefully, you can see the curve. Oh, it's just a bit of refraction at the horizon. Damn.
I swore at Ruhif in the break.
You swear at Ruhif every day.
You swear at Ruhif
No, I
in your
don't
life?
tend to swear at him like I did on
Why are you
in the
sounding
break.
surprised at your behaviour?
You swear at Ruhif in your sleep?
It's just because when we were live, he was obfuscating the fact that 76R is based on R, and he danced around it and danced around it, and then in the break he was like, well, I'm just trying to prove the 76R of it. I'm like, what's it? And he was like, well, the radius. I'm
No,
like,
he
right,
wasn't.
so
He
you've
was
got a
saying, "No, I'm
radius
just
in
trying to
there.
prove
You
the
know,
7.6, but he didn't say the R.
He
He's
did.
trying to distance himself from the R.
Yeah, of course he is. That's
Yeah.
why he started swearing at me
Then he
in the
tries
show.
to throw in gradients. Oh, the light will bend with gradients and stuff, and let's skip the R and
Yeah,
make
but what he
make a
forgets is that
gradient in there.
refraction's already been accounted for because they make us use that refract. He wants to account for refraction again. Wasn't enough there. Let's have a bit more.
Right, and their refraction doesn't account for the actual displayed refraction, so their models are a fail by Ruhif standards.
Just add as much as you need.
Yeah, just add it more. Who cares? It's only a model. We can do whatever we like with it. We can make it bigger. We can make it smaller. We can give it more refraction. We can flatten it out with refraction. You name it, we can do it. If it doesn't match reality, we can sort it. It's just a model.
Yep. And everybody will accept it if we tell them it's true. Unusual, peaceful, quiet moment.
It is. It's enjoyable, actually. But no trolls are joining, so it's... and I call them trolls. You know, I mean, they've got to be trolls, haven't they, to keep coming back and get spoken to the way Nathan talks to him.
Sorry, you mean
like...
respected and valued viewers? Contributors to the chat, I think you mean.
I mean, you do abuse them. But they keep coming back for more, so maybe they like that kind of stuff, you know? Some people do.
I mean, I'm going to make a retraction because I compared them to Jehovah's Witnesses, and that is an insult to Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, and silent spots are brought about by gravity. Just slight increases in gravitational pull. It causes, like, dead time on the air.
See, the
Yeah,
thing is,
and
right?
Jehovah's Witnesses actually go away when you make it clear that you don't want to talk to them.
Well, the thing is,
Try to get that foot in the door, but yeah, after that.
they've got the same tired arguments. That's all they've got.
Yeah.
And so we now can counter them. So it's so easy for us to kick their ass every time they come in because they're not evolving. They're not going out and saying, right, okay, we'll find this molten iron core stuff for you. We'll go and do that. We'll go and find the evidence for that. No, they're not doing it.
They do try, but there is no evidence for a molten iron core. That's why they haven't come back. If there was evidence, they would have brought it.
Exactly. So they're not evolving their own argument.
Well, they are trying to invent new stuff and new distractions that have no bearing on anything. It's just more obfuscation, So.
Yeah, like talking about real refraction, the stuff they can't model and don't account for, and ignoring the actual pictures of the reality we are faced with when we take a picture. All of that gets ignored. But when we start using it as an argument, suddenly they bring it up like it's part of their argument. So they convolute terrestrial refraction with actual observed refraction, mirages, a fold line. These things that are ignored when they just bend light around a sphere that we don't see. That's terrestrial refraction.
So somebody in chat says, Sam Scott, Shane, tell me how and I will. Oh, Shane Walter. Oh, it doesn't matter. Ignore me. Alan B says, it's an echo chamber.
It is at the moment, but all are welcome. If the ballers had joined, we had Ruhif on, he was in.
Yeah, I'm happy to liberate a spot if there's too many on the panel and someone needs to get on. I'll happily drop.
Yeah, and we did have Alan on, but he outstayed his welcome, it seems.
ZelBTD says the show is dead. Well, there was 222 people watching the last show, and there's 176 now. I hardly think it's dead. It's tripled in size in the past 7 months. I have a big middle finger for you.
Actually, that will. I kind of stopped keeping track of it because it came more than I could keep track of, believe it or not. But because of the stats, I can now say that in the last month, I've picked up 500 subscribers, which is, for me, absolutely astronomical in terms of growth. Far, far, far more than I've ever experienced in the 10 years I've been on YouTube. So to those 500 people that have subscribed, massive shout out to all of you. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'm just a bit overwhelmed. Up until then, I was like, I've had 100 subscribers in the last 2 weeks, and I put it on the video and it ticked over because I was able to keep track. But yeah, it's just like beyond that now. It's like, wow, 500 subscribers in a month. The getting between 4,000 and 5,000 subscribers took a year just to put that into context. So wow, great news.
It's snowballing. It's snowballing, and it's snowballing for a reason. The reason is that we're here getting our hands dirty, and we're finding answers, and other people are picking up on this. And as much as the ballers want to say the show is dying, no, it's not. It's growing, and it's growing fast.
I think the funniest one for me was Arwin's subs. When I went and looked at it the other day, it was 666 until I subscribed.
Everybody gets to that point eventually.
Yeah, even Nathan.
I can
Nathan
top
the other day was on.
Oh, let me get it in. So I had 6,666 subscribers.
I saw that.
And the show number when that happened was show 333. Debate 333. I had 666 subscribers.
Yep.
Just meaningless numbers. Doesn't mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
That does. We planned it all out from the beginning. 3 years ago.
It's all back
3 years ago, remember?
Stuff there going on.
But it works out perfectly. We planned it 3 years ago for that to happen exactly then.
Yeah, I decided if I dedicate vast chunks of my life, I might just get to 6,000 subscribers in 10 years when I started my YouTube account. Nah, that ain't what I thought. Like most people, you start a YouTube account, put out your video, and go, yeah, it's going to go viral. Big shout out to Flat Earth Dude for the super chat. And you get 5, 6 viewings, and you go, oh, what happened there? I put a lot of work into that. What's wrong? Shills, evil, YouTube. That's what you do.
Shout out to the Plain Truth as well. He put a video out yesterday or sometime this morning, very early, so about 12, 13 hours ago.
Just on a side note, I got a new subscriber. He's from a PewDiePie subscription because I commented on PewDiePie when he did his flat Earth nonsense and stuff. And one convert from PewDiePie.
Cool.
Oh well, it happens.
Stephen Chess was saying that his take on the whole PewDiePie thing was that he was being extremely clever, and he can't come out and just say, I've been looking at flat Earth, it's very interesting, might even be true, because he'd just get ridiculed, he'd just get stigmatized by his views. So rather than do that, he takes the approach of, let's ridicule it a little bit, but with pretty poor arguments, and it might just get people into the subject, because then they know the subject exists. But it's not like he put forward any decent arguments. It was a tongue-in-cheek look at flat Earth, and that was it, with a few, like I say, very poor, ham-handed debunkings to nothing, basically. So I would have imagined that would get quite a few people interested in the subject, because it's an interesting, you know, just a potential fad that you might look into just because PewDiePie's talked about it. So therefore, people might come across various other videos that are more useful and go, there's more to this. So, you know, big shout out to PewDiePie in that respect. No publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, and the thing that makes it different from, say, other things that raise people's curiosity, like the Huliaku and all these ancient ruins, other stuff, and aliens, flat Earth is a little more tangible and a little more realistic than, you know, all these intangibles in a sense, like aliens and all this stuff, you know? Because it is a down-to-earth subject.
Absolutely.
Let's say the globe believers are looking for songs that are made for the globe, you know, because there's so many flat Earth songs, and they come across round and curvy, you know?
I was just going to say, Anthony said this the other day, so saying if you go through the, and I'm not going to call them globe heads just for this example, so the anti-flat Earth proponents videos, and look at what they've got to offer, it's all CGI, it's all cartoons, it's all side elevations, misrepresentations, models, you name it. That's what you get from, I will call them that now, globe heads. The ones we deal with, that is, specifically the anti-flat Earth proponents that believe in the sphere Earth religion. When you look at the flat Earth videos, on total contrast, they're all real world. They're outdone with cameras out in the world we live in, 2 feet on the ground, or in the case of Anthony, 1 belly on the ground. You know, that's what's going on.
That could be any size, though.
Or in a 300-foot warehouse, 400-foot warehouse with a few lids and a good camera.
Yeah, big shout out.
You never know where good stuff gonna come from. You know,
absolutely.
It's all good stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean, there. What size is belly size?
Flat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Animal protection rushed in when you're on your belly, eh? They thought you were a harbor seal. I'm kidding.
Yeah, they were going to blow me up.
No need. That was a low blow, Jimbo. I bet you're a fatty.
Have you seen that video online where they have that massive blue whale that's washed up on a beach somewhere and it started to rot and stink?
And they blew it up. Oh my
they
god!
put TNT in it and blew it up.
Yep.
And it blew 50 and 100-pound chunks hundreds of yards away. Some landed on cars and destroyed the cars. 100 pounds of whale blubber inbound. Kaboom. It was. They never did it again.
No.
It's gross. That's really a tough one to watch, you know.
Riley, when the promotion for before the test you took with the professor before your debate, he made some comments about describing you. You are this and you are that, a smart guy, and you are level-headed. By level-headed, that means that your head is flat.
Yeah, I suppose it means the opposite of curvy-headed. Although then again, I suppose level-headed means, well, it's still curvy because it's following the shape of the core of the Earth, right? So it depends on depends what you mean by level, but most people mean level as in like flat, not curvy.
It's funny, in England, apartments and stuff are called flats and not like archy, curvy, bendy domiciles.
Oh, do you guys have bungalows where you live?
Yeah, we got lots of those. They're less popular now, but we have bungalows by the ton.
Do you call them bungalows?
Yep.
Do you know where the term, I don't know whether this is true, but this is what I got told and it makes sense. Do you know where the term bungalow comes from?
Sounds like the Congo or somewhere, but I don't know. Really don't.
Apparently, it was an estate that they were building at some point on the outbreak of World War One, and they hadn't finished them. So apparently, the argument was, well, we haven't finished these houses, so just bungalow roof on them. I don't know how true it is, but it makes sense.
Bungalow roof.
It's true.
Yep, it sounds about right. It's just like if you have to cock an ashram, you know.
Yeah, they're so expensive. They're half the size.
Yeah, I've got a similar story about diesel engines. So they couldn't come up with a name for them, and they went, well, diesel do.
Diesel do?
Yeah.
Did somebody say cocking ass ram?
No.
Yeah, some ashrams or some, you know, cocking needs to be done around the ashram, you know.
How did that name come around?
An ashram, you had fireplaces that had a place where you could shove the ashes out the back or down a trough instead of shoveling them out the front of the fireplace and into the
ash.
So it's an ashram.
I thought you said ass.
Yeah. Well, we won't talk about peanuts. Yeah.
I thought you said ass ram.
What are you guys talking about? I caught it the first time you said it.
Yeah, I heard cock in ass ram too.
That's what I heard, cocky ass ram.
No, you have ashrammers here, you know. They're still around. People still have homes that, you know, have fireplaces and other stuff. Some bigger places, the wood was cut, you know, most fireplaces have little logs. They're cut to 6 feet, and they go in this, like, huge fireplace 6 feet at a time. Now that's a fireplace.
Been a bit hard done by our CGI ranties in chat. I want a CGI Sleeping Warrior handle, please.
You can't have one.
I want
one. Yeah, but you're not allowed.
I'm feeling left out. I'd like a CGI Sleeping Warrior troll, please.
You could always make one yourself.
I know, but it's not the same if I do it myself. It's like when you steal a bottle of wine that you're going to get given anyway. If you steal it, it tastes better. If you go and buy it, it doesn't taste as good when you buy it. But if you steal it, it tastes better. It's like if you make your own troll account, it's not quite as good. But if someone does it for you, it's even better.
I like CGI Ranty. I was going to, you know, if I had the choice, I would have changed my name to that as well for a time, but somebody else nicked it, so I say.
I mean, rendering stuff in CGI with a P1000 would be far easier, Auntie. You know, it'd help you fake that Earth curve that you like proving, apparently.
Oh, you mean the turbines? They're fake turbines, aren't they? They're not real, apparently.
Not
the reality of the world.
Not now the vast bulk of our argument at all. It's it was just one little snippet that you did in Photoshop, not thousands upon thousands of frames of them across multiple time periods. Not at all. It's just one doctored image.
And not just that they look level over 23 miles in the one photo, but they're all plumb and vertical to each other. And if you put lines straight up, they're parallel to each other, which is impossible if they're arcing around a curve.
Well, I have a theory about that. Maybe Ranty does have like a giant holodeck where he can basically emulate a flat Earth. So he goes there every day with his camera, and then he can photograph an emulated flat Earth.
That's what he calls his PC. He calls his PC the holodeck.
Big Fresnel lens on a boat in the middle of the bay there.
Yeah.
And he's cheating.
It sure would save me time. It would save me time.
You have people.
Yeah, and travel costs.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you have people with giant hydraulic jacks jacking up the you know the things to see it in the horizon?
You mean your tutor from Pixar hasn't shown up and given you your lessons yet?
Nathan.
Yeah.
ZelBDT says, Nathan Oakley, then put your hand in your pocket and use the proceeds of this circle jerk towards Ranty's P1000. I'm not sure whether we should call this a circle jerk when there's an open link for anybody to join, including Zell. If you have something to bring to the table, Zell, don't make it a circle jerk. Let's see it.
fact is, there's positively no onus that he has to spend the money on anything but what he chooses. You know, he's earning it. It's voluntary. It's work. It's, you know, the only person who has really a say on how that money should be spent is Nathan Oakley and the show. You know, basically.
Well, everyone knows what it goes on. It goes on looking after his family. So we all know this, and he puts a lot of time and effort into making the shows both pre and after, as well as doing the shows every single day. He works hard enough for it, so why not?
It's a lot of damn work, stress.
Let me just respond to Alan B. He says, "Sleeping Warrior, tell Paul to stop kicking me. Dawn Treader, stop kicking him."
Dawn Treader.
Any leftover goes on hookers and cocaine, so I'm pretty sure I can approve of that.
What we should do is have like a huge flat Earth rally, so that everybody that you should, like on all shows, we should just let all the money pour in, so that we could all buy each other as like P1000s.
I'm just grateful that they've all tuned in. They can moan at me all they like. Thanks for watching.
Do you reckon we get scrappage allowance for the P900?
I could auction my P900 off, actually. I wonder if anybody had really, you know, sort of like...
Well, once the next one up comes out at a price that's comparable, that P900 is going to be like down at the price of another Canon D6 or D5 or whatever, you know?
Don't say that.
P900 will go up.
Mine will be worth more. Mine will be worth more.
Yeah, I reckon the P900 will go up.
Why will yours be worth more?
And well, the gold and the treasure that washed into it, you know?
It's got added sand that comes with it.
A pirate chest, you know?
Did you say a stand or a tripod?
Sand.
Stand.
Sand.
Oh, sand.
Someone buys it from you, takes a picture, and they see fish, you know? Hey, honey, see fish?
I want some waders. That's what I really want.
No, what you need is a decent tripod, Randy.
No, because that won't work.
Why not?
Because it doesn't. Because to get the shot, if you're going to get under a foot, right, you have to be right next to the water. So what I'm finding is that at high tide, I stand on the steps. The steps cause a massive splash, so I can't get my 1 foot shots very often from high tide. I just can't do it.
He actually needs one of those attitude indicators that planes have, so we can see where horizon is, because he struggles getting the horizon level.
Well, I think I've got like a viewing problem, because it's always tilted.
You might want to use a small glass box with a nice clear glass front and, you know, something on top of it, rubberized, and have your hand inside that, and any splash will hit the box on the outside and still let you take a picture near water without damaging the camera. Like a little aquarium.
Randy, you should contact the ITRAs, maybe like duct tape your P900 in his drone and just bring it up with a zoom in already and see what you guys can catch.
I could do that. The final ride of Ranty's P900. Strap it to a drone and see what we can see.
And if any of
or
you
you go to the airport, you find a plane that's going to cross over, and you stick it to the belly. And
can any of you guys in the Hangout see the broadcast screen? Just because I'm not sharing it, but it is being broadcast. Just a quick shout out to Karen B for the meme one of her subscribers. I think she said from a moderator on my server. She says, but
one big R.
I'm a believer in R.
We use R to start our cars here, eh?
R?
Winter when it's cold. R. That's how we use R.
Well, I live in Wiltshire, so R is pretty good down there.
I mean R.
R. R.
Oi!
R divided by D. RDRR.
That was a Simpsons gag.
Yep. On the blackboard, I think that one too.
That's it.
I've only ever watched a few episodes of The Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah.
Right up your street, Ranty, for the humour.
Well, I look like Homer, I'll be honest.
It was only on for like 22 years or something
No, you look
like
more like
that.
Barney, not Homer.
Wait, I want to be Homer.
No, you're Barney in the bar, the one that always goes. Bleh.
Nah,
That was the nuclear family, The Simpsons.
Who's that guy that made a video about the that mountain? Is it Simon Dan?
Oh, him.
Yeah, he's like
No.
Mo, the bartender.
Mo the bartender.
Don't you think he looks like Mo the bartender?
Yeah, he does. He does. And his name's no Simon Dan because there's no Psy in his bloody videos.
Flutter Matt is Krusty Clown, the clown.
Krusty.
Krusty the Clown. The Jewish clown. Bring in the clowns.
Who's the rich one, the miserly one that treats everyone nastily?
Burns.
Yeah, that's you.
Me?
Mr. Burns.
One of my favourite lines from Mr. Burns was he walks into this room and it's full of like swag and gold and diamonds. And he turns to Smithers and he says, "Ah, Smithers, I'd trade it all for just a little bit more."
No, you're talking it all wrong, Smithers.
Smithers.
Do you not think Flat Earth Math is Ned Flanders?
No. There's got to be far more Christian candidates to nail to Ned Flanders.
What do you mean? Far more? You can't get any more Christian than Ned Flanders.
Well, they portray him as Satan in The Simpsons. You realise that, right?
Oh no, I've not really realised that. No.
Yeah, he's Satan.
Well, Flat Earth Math is Satan, right?
No, wouldn't that be M. Scott Veach?
No, he would be the Antichrist.
Son
Son of Satan, remember?
The astronaut's son, so M. Scott Veach, there must be a connection to an astronaut in Simpsons somewhere.
Nah.
Who's that little baby that cries all the time? Oh, yeah, the rumpus.
Do you remember Bleeding Gums?
Bleeding Gums Murphy?
Yeah,
Curved Water.
He made a song called Curved Water. That's cool.
Bleeding Gums is Curved Water.
Oh, I see. Bendy water, curved water.
No, just because of the way he talks and he acts, and he's very, I don't know, it's just sounds like him for me.
Sounds like he's smoking a big cigar.
I'd be more a Marcel Marceau.
And then the annoying, who's the guy with the squeaky voice at Bart's friend?
Millhouse.
Oh, that's you. That's you, Riley.
What was his name?
Millhouse.
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 Millhouse, yeah, that'd be Arwen.
Alan.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Alan.
No,
Yeah.
Arwen can be Millhouse.
No.
Named after Richard Milhouse Nixon. His parents liked it. You know the name of the guy with the store? It's an insult.
Nassim Hapasapida Petalon.
No, it's Apu.
Apu, yeah.
More happy Botswana. More happy Botswana. Apu.
It's
Happy
Napu
Botswana.
Napatapisa Napetalon. I'm sure it is. His full name.
I thought it was More Happy Botswana.
I don't think so. I'm going to double check that. I'm pretty sure that it's... I can't say it, but Nahasapina Petalon or something like that. I'll just look it up. Give me 2 secs.
Yeah, because I think it was an episode where he did the hummingbird, I Feel Like Hummingbird, and Buzzed in the Store. And Paul McCartney was on that one, I
I
think.
vaguely remember. With Linda McCartney, right?
With Linda, yeah.
Yeah, I do remember.
Do you know who Mrs. Quabopple would be?
Do you know what crabapple is?
No, what?
It's crab apple. Mrs. Crab
Yeah,
Apple.
like the crabapple tree.
Yeah.
Is that a slur?
No, it's a type of apple we used
Yeah, I know
to
it's
eat to get hooky off of school.
Because I was going to say, Mrs. Quabopple reminds me of what a particular flat earther.
Who?
Karen B.
Karen
In the
B.
nicest of ways, I can imagine her being like a dead authoritarian teacher.
Right.
But there were a few different teachers on The Simpsons, weren't there? Not just Mrs. Crabapple. There were a few other lady teacher person on it.
Well, I
Remember
remember
the grandpa. Is that Pete?
I remember an episode where Bart was getting told off by Mrs. Quabopple, and she was shouting at him something like, "Bart, don't make sure you don't do that again," or whatever. But what he heard was, and that's what I hear when the ballers start talking about things like refraction.
I've got his name right. So his name is, I'll spell it, then I'll try and say it. So it's Nahasapemapetillon. So it's Nahasapena Petalon. Apu Nahasapena Petalon. So I was pretty close.
So how's it? Is it a slur?
Well, who's custodied the crown?
No, but a poo, you know, if you want to go have a poo.
Apu Nahasapena.
It's the Apu bit.
Yeah, the Apu bit.
Like Minjita.
We've got Krusty the Clown.
Who's Krusty the Clown? Yeah.
Well,
I think that's Alan. It's got to be Alan.
I think so. Not Mark Taylor.
David Weiss is fitting. He'd be all right there, wouldn't he? He's got that dead, very gruff voice.
My wife's got a friend called Amandeep.
Oh, that's it. Ralph Wiggum.
Oh, the Sheriff Wiggum. Chief Wiggum.
Yeah, Chief Wiggum's dumb son that's got like an IQ of about 40.
Oh, the kid. Yeah, the fat kid. Okay, yeah.
I ate some bees.
This is dwelling really, really off topic.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Well,
My kid fell asleep about half an hour ago, so I'm happy to run the show a bit longer. So that's why I'm just sat here.
In film and nostalgia, it's a very weird film, but the Toxic Avenger 3, The Last Temptation of Toxie, there are flat Earth scenes when he's cast off the mountain and stuff, you know.
I'll give us the title again.
It's The Last Temptation of Toxie. It's in the Toxic Avenger series. It's comedy horror, but it's all Illuminati shit. It really is, you know, from big companies and pharma and their chemicals and polluting and being happy to do it and, you know, taking over neighborhoods and all this shit. That film is well worth watching end to end, you know, for symbology and other stuff. This guy who makes these films, you know, he's I'm sure Mason and definitely Illuminati. Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to do a couple of shout outs. So I've got a show later on at 8 o'clock, which is about 3.5 hours time from now, depending on where you are. Obviously, it's still 3.5 hours from now. But 8 p.m. UK time, I'll be on with Quantum Eraser with 5 Flat Earth Proofs. And I'm sure there was someone in the chat asked me, Twisted Pretzel. Nathan, support my brand new live stream. So check out Twisted Pretzel if you're in the live stream now. Click on his name, subscribe to him. But far more importantly, watch my show with Quantum Eraser.
He's got 12 live running right now. Literally got 12. Each one's got one watching.
Who's got 12 running now?
Twisted Pretzel.
Well, if we're wrapping up one now, I'll just go over there and just like troll his chat for a bit, make him feel like they're happy.
Which one should we go to though? He's got 12.
Wow, live streams.
12 live streams live now.
Are they actually all running?
Yeah. Flat Earth Business, Flat Earth Business 2, Flat Earth Business 3, Flat Earth Business 4, 5, 6, blah, 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 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Hey, guys.
What on earth is he thinking? That's a new approach.
He's spamming it, and he's like...
Well, why not? That's what bloody... after Jaren was criticising the 24-hour live stream, suddenly, you know, this was probably 18 months ago. I don't know if you guys will remember that far back, but he was really heavily criticising the live, not live streams. And then the next thing you know, they start bunging up fake live streams that definitely aren't live. They're old footage being recycled on live streams. And then suddenly the whole Flat Earth search engine filled up with NASA feeds, which is what we have to this day. You type in Flat Earth, first results you'll get in YouTube will be the debunkings from any big TV production companies or anything similar. Next thing you'll find, or if you click live, if you then click live and filter, you'll get NASA live feeds. And they're not live. It's total nonsense.
As well, very telling. Basically censoring us into oblivion then. Hey, but guys, did you see, I put a link in the side chat here. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that. It was posted some time ago, a few months ago, in the FE Friends. And it's actually a video clip of a Polish group. And, well, just look at the very first frame of it. I thought it was pretty spectacular. And it was a nice song as well.
It's not available here, that link, in my country.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll have to maybe try it on a proxy or something later.
You know what? I'll just present the picture of the first frame. I think I can do that safely.
Oh, right, the one with the sun and the moon.
Yeah, because I don't even get the picture of the first page. Just that
Can you
the
make it full
uploader has
screen
not made this
Can you
video
see this,
available
guys?
in your country.
Is it paused?
Yeah.
Which icon are you? There it is.
Yeah, fine, as long as it's paused.
Yeah.
So,
It's from a Clio. Eva. It's just a typical pop group, I think. But yeah, the entire video is right here in this little CGI realm that reminds me of something very particular.
It even has a dome on it, look.
it's from the Disc Earth shills, Arwin.
Yeah, they have. It's pretty cool. I like it.
I thought you hated the Disc Earthers.
Not only if you.
Yeah, I don't like pizza
Absolute
pie,
tool.
pushing a pizza pie earth. No, I'm not big on that. I don't know what it is. I won't pretend to know.
It's very Adam and Eve themed, so I think they had some biblical inspiration there, definitely.
By the way, have you seen Jaren's most recent video? It's about an advert, a cell phone advert with 5G little amplifier signal things.
Yeah. The mini system, they have to have a whole lot so local traffic can get exchanged fast, and then whatever distribution, but nothing of satellite, nothing of all little boxes, little Wi-Fi boxes.
The point of the video is to see how many flat Earth references there are and look at the way they depict the Earth in the it's ace. If you've not seen it, go and check it out. It's good. I'm just busy watching Eve on a swing.
You know what's so funny about that? I did watch it, but I missed the flat Earth stuff because I was listening to the sort of technical stuff in the boxes and
Yeah,
just
there's loads of flat Earth
focused on that.
references.
It's amazing. I just missed everything, in a sense, you know, because again, I was focused on something else. But I'll watch it again, pick up on the more flat stuff there. But it's flat. Oh yeah, and the is it a radar test they're doing with the FE core group? They did a preliminary, which was, I don't know how many kilometers, but it went swimmingly well. And they're going to do their 120 plus mile test. And it's a line of sight test with this this equipment. It don't work around a curve. It has to be dead on, line of sight. If a boat passes between them and their antennas, there's no more signal.
Pussy Pretzel, Nathan Oakley, I'm willing to share my success with flat earthers. You obviously need help. He's the richest person here. Cheers. Smash the super chat. See it in the bottom? Donate. There you go.
How long do you guys want me to run this for? As I say, I've got no sprog climbing on me, which is usually the reason to round out the show. But I'm happy to. We sit afterwards and chat like we're chatting.
160 people. Why not?
Well, that's it. I mean, we'd normally continue this conversation after the show had ended, and we're kind of having that kind of conversation now, but on air, which I'm happy to continue on air unless any of you guys object.
Do we talk like we do when we're off air?
At the moment, we kind of are. We're just chit-chatting about who looks like a Simpsons character, so that's kind of like our off-air chats.
Yeah, but it's kind of like without the swearing, though, isn't it?
You know, we've missed somebody off the Simpsons character thing. What was the head teacher called? The bloke? Skinner. Mr. Skinner. We need someone for Mr. Skinner.
Skinner?
It's going to have to be Rob Skeeber, isn't it? Because he's the only one I can think of that wears a jacket.
But he's not skinny and don't wear the metal glasses or nothing there.
Rob Skeeber's quite skinny.
Professor Skinner, that's Nathan, bro.
They're both ex-military.
Yeah, I reckon.
Oh,
Rob
you can tell that was Skiba. He's just uptight and tense. Like he's got his rifle still shoved all the way up his locker. I mean, he's an uptight guy. He's full of fire and not brimstone so much, but certainly he got the gift of the gab. And just like once he got into flat Earth, he turned it up a notch or something, you know. I'm sure he's a different preacher as a flat earther now than he was before.
No doubt. Took him long
I think
enough
he's more excited about it.
Took him long enough. For ages he was like agnostic and, you know, researching the globe or testing the globe. And then I think he actually declared his flat earthiness on Patricia's show, I think.
Well,
do you guys think on this upcoming movie, Neil Armstrong and the moon landings, do you guys think it's gonna be shown a Hollywood production on the actual landing on the moon, or you think they're gonna avoid to show any part of that? It's gonna be just the drama and the interactions and on Earth.
Well, the legally
It's going to be a reenactment with a lot of footage that they didn't actually shoot in between. I've already seen some of it in the trailer where they actually approach the moon, and it's going to be crystal clear CGI just to fill in the holes of the actual footage. And
Hey,
they're going to be it's going to be a reenactment for a greater part, and then focus on the drama between the people a lot.
I want to know how they managed to get the lunar rover in the limb.
It folds out. Have you not seen that narrative? Well, no, there is a narrative. I mean,
was it like a bloody Pop-Tart?
Well, yeah, kind of. I mean, well, yeah, but there is a narrative that goes along that. I just don't want people to go. If you presented that argument to a staunch Glober and they actually knew the narrative, they'd just tell you, because they did, invest quite a lot of time with. I think it was Chrysler. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the manufacturer, but I think it was Chrysler, and they essentially attempted to get this, £10 pile of shit into a £5 bag, and in order to achieve that, they had to sort of fold the axles in on itself and get it to essentially be spring loaded in the compartment, so that it, when they pulled it, it would then collapse out the front axles and then gently kind of lower down on a kind of counter sprung weight, so that it didn't descend too fast, didn't pop out too severely. And they did, there is documentaries out there about how they get that very seemingly large, Jeep frame into what is actually a tiny little space. And they do have a narrative for it. I'm not for 1 second saying I agree with any of that bullshit. I don't. But I'm just saying that I don't want you to go away thinking, yeah, that debunks them. You couldn't get that car in the LEM. Well, yeah, you could according to their bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think it was probably a $40–50 million cut down Ladero or something, that they stripped down, put in a few, again, they bought a lot of the hardware at hardware stores and, common supplies. I mean, when they say homeless tweaker shelter, everything was garbage up there, or up there in the junkyard where they did all this shit, filmed it.
Yeah, it's just models.
And models. They combined some stuff. Yeah, they did all the art, like Disney and stuff. They, if they need some, Disney had the best, kind of technical effects and stuff, and they worked hand in hand with NASA on pretty well probably every NASA project.
Well, it's the other way around, actually. So, check out Dilly Gill if you've not seen him. DILLYGILL. But he phrased it the best I've ever heard, which is that NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography. There's a reason why Barry Lyndon was filmed with NASA lenses. Those low light lenses came from NASA because NASA had the technology where Hollywood didn't. So NASA are on the cutting edge of cinematography, which kind of makes me think a little bit about the current quality that they put out, which isn't that high. It is far easier, I feel, to discern, given the quality that we have today, that it's fake. Whereas you go back to the moon landings, and as much as, with a high definition television and YouTube with a pause button and slow frame rates that you can really have a good look at this stuff. But you could imagine on a 14-inch black and white CRTV, at best, most people listen to it on the radio, it would be far more convincing. At that time with that technology. In other words, it was a far more, for the time, grandiose fake. Whereas now I see the ISS stuff as just garbage. Weak, really weak. It's not like it's, really trying hard to be.
Not that they were ever the greatest, but one of the things that might be influencing how bad their productions are is that they weren't ready to start pumping out as much propaganda as they wound up because of, the flat earth coming out and other stuff. So for the last few years, they come out with some of the worst garbage that they've ever come out with.
Yeah, there's
and
definitely
it's
been an
probably
increase,
because they weren't prepared for it.
Sure,
They've been hit hard. They've really been hit hard.
But there's been, you know, moon hoaxers or moon landing conspiracy theorists, or however, I don't know how, I don't want to offend anybody, I don't care. You know, the people that say the moon landings were fake have been around before Flat Earth had caught traction. So
moon landing skeptics.
Yeah, moon landing skeptics, there you go. So the moon landing skeptics were already doing stuff, and I think that initially got them to ramp up what they were doing. And then, as you say, when Flat Earthers jumped on that bandwagon, which is technically what we did, then it meant that they had to do more of the same stuff that they'd already kind of done to counter what they'd discovered from the moon hoaxers, undoubtedly, with loads of infiltrators finding out what information they've got to debunk the moon landings so they can change the narrative slightly, improve things in the future, etc., etc., etc. So, you know, that leads me on to what I sometimes feel like we are in Flat Earth. You know, perhaps we are here to expose the cracks in the heliocentric argument so that they can just be pasted over like they were with Robotham. You know, they just find out where the flaws are and then just address them.
Yeah, one of the things that's probably fortunate too is that no matter how good your 3D software is, it's only as good as the user, and they are complex. There's so many places to click and different channels everything's working on. You know, it's a little bit like OBS. It's a little complicated and tricky to figure out which channel's doing what, and, you know, the audio, and then, you know, put things in sequence and have them play your live shot as opposed to what's waiting to come up next, you know, and stuff. You have to be real good. You know, you get better with practice, but this equipment has so much more than OBS, like OBS on rabies, and, you know, it's not easy to nail it all. You need time, and they don't have the time. They make mistakes because
usually
got
rendering
powerful
issues.
software, but they just blow it because
it's usually overlay issues. Wouldn't you agree? It's like a rendering issue where they've
channels. Yeah, someone's masking layer has not been applied, or it's behind another layer, like the guy on the harness flying by when they were grabbing the invisible hats. There's a masking layer. It wasn't applied at the right layer. It's easy to, you know, accidentally even pull it up and over where it should be. You just drop it one channel higher in a timeline. Like, you know, when you edit your video, you got a timeline.
Yeah.
Well, and it's, you have different layers or different channels. You can put the stuff on. You can sort of overlap one over the other to get them to crossfade and do other effects and stuff, you know, and sometimes a point and a click and a slip happens really quick. You know, you want to get out of there, go point while you're hot and you're dragging something somewhere else. You let it go and you didn't feel it when you left the program. You know, so anything you have to take time and do it right. And if you don't, well, you'll see the guy's harness.
Right.
Both times. As he chases his moist towel.
Or grabs a hat that's not there.
What did he need a towel for?
It's just incredibly hard to combine live footage with CGI. To back engineer it afterwards, to put it in the editing room, that's relatively easy. That's why the science fiction movies in space are so sublime and very detailed and beautiful, because they have the time in the editing room to work out the details.
Yeah.
When you're doing it live with real people, that's an whole another story. And unless they completely transit to a full live CGI system that is convincing enough to be live rendered on the spot, then it's no use. They're going to always have problems.
Yeah, and it's still getting better, but there is still the issue of trying to edit out one thing while you're hot and live, you know, or even edit in something like a can of Pepsi where there's no can of Pepsi. You know, today you can be on a set that looks like it has everything, but it's all virtual. Anyone in the studio looking at you, you're just standing on a spot on the floor and there's just, you know, green or whatever all around you. Everything is being projected, you know, just to the viewer, not... You don't even see it.
You just see how funny those videos look on the zero-G planes, and just regular people just doing the zero-G plane participation, but then the astronauts are the ones helping the people don't to get all banged up left and right. I've seen a bunch yesterday of NASA astronauts, like the guy with the mustache that plays the guitar in that video, with no time, you know. He was helping people just doing backflips and stuff in the zero G planes. Odd.
On the subject of like ISS and those people, there's a thing, and I think I mentioned it before, but when they're looking down at the so-called Earth and curve from the cupola, the view is literally from over 3,000 miles up. If you go to Google Earth and set your zoom over, say, Italy, and you zoom down to 300 miles, say, oh boy, you got leather in your face and you don't see much of a globe and you don't see any curve at all because you only see land. There's just too much in your face that you can't even see the edge of the Earth from 300 miles. So all these fantasy pictures and green screen in the cupola, I mean, it's so easy to see once you know what to look for. Their view is from over 3,000 miles up, but their claim is they're 300 miles up. And you can prove that easy by clicking open Google Earth and checking the two views. You'll see they're lying in every single photo. 100%.
I think Gem Panda wants to come in. He's back in the chat. He's making a bit of a nuisance of himself.
Well, I'll let him on if you want to entertain them. Well,
to be honest, I'd rather you stay. We don't need Jeremy on.
Why not? Well, there's a gap. If Jeremy wants to join, he's welcome to.
Because he's a liar.
Oh, don't start on the ad homs. He's not said it. He's not even joined yet.
Poking the bear. Poking the bear.
Pokey, 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 pokey.
Do you remember when he did the Girl Guides map?
Yeah, and he still stands by that. he still maintains that his position with that map was okay.
Oh, that's classic.
I saw a comment in chat from somebody talking about a Chinese satellite that takes a picture of the Earth every 10 minutes. And my immediate reaction was, no Chinese satellite works reliably for a long period of time. There's no way any of the Chinese satellites actually work. Everything that you buy from China fails at like a ridiculously short period of time.
you buy Kelvinator refrigerators and other appliances and stuff here, and they're all controlled by a circuit board made in China, and they always fail. And then, you know, and usually a day after the warranty expires, you know, 1 year and a day, and it's over $100 for that little circuit board.
Yeah, it's a lot of
weighs 2 ounces, and they all go down like that. So it's defect engineering, I call it.
It's true. They always seem to fail just outside the warranty period. Same with your exhaust. If you buy an exhaust from Quick Fit, that 2-year warranty, 2 years and 1 month afterwards, you'll need to buy a new exhaust.
Yeah, you can push through it with a pencil.
Yeah. Ninja Man says, Gem Panda, have you no shame? Nope, Jeremy has no shame.
No shame at all.
Talks complete and utter rubbish.
Should see some of his photos from the 1980s.
There's a gap, so I'm holding out now for anybody to join. If not, I'm going to round out in the next 5 minutes. So
I'm holding out for a hero to the end of the show. He's gotta be big and he's gotta be strong. Jeremy.
Oh, God.
Bonnie Tyler was a national treasure.
And Jeremy's just from Nottingham.
Who's playing the music in the background?
There's porno in front there, Karen BG. Might as well round it off and get that off the screen there.
I just removed it.
Oh.
Who left to make room for the troll?
Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get any decent guests. That's a bit of a shame.
Yeah, you already got one.
Okay, well, is there anything any of you guys want to add before I round out?
I'd just like to say skål and have a good weekend.
Hola.
Hola.
Hey, Stiggy. Good to see you. Okay.
Oh, hey, everyone, be well. I'll be watching the show in 4 hours there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good reminder there. So I'll plug that. I'm going to be on in about 3.5 hours, maybe a bit less. I think it might be 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours from now with Quantum Eraser. So tune in for 5 flat earth proofs with John and myself, which is going to be at 8 PM UK time. So with that, I will say a first and foremost massive, enormous, huge thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing the show, and of course a massive thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do, but if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!